Here's why custom proposals are killing your consulting business. Your client is coming to you with a problem, but often it's vague, right? They don't even have it fleshed out. So if they say they need help with growth or they need messaging or hiring, whatever it is, but you know what they really need is buried underneath. It's the thing beneath the thing, right? Some mix of strategy and structure, decision making issues, usually execution, right? So you do this pre proposal call and maybe you get the budget information, maybe you don't. You're not totally sure how they make decisions because you haven't been on the back end of the business yet. And yet now you're supposed to write this proposal, pricing, scope, deliverables, for a business you don't fully understand. And for some reason, this has been the way we've done consulting and agency work for years. Look, if writing blind proposals and guessing on decision making and pricing is a frustration for you too, I've got a strategy for you and I'm going to lay it out in this episode. I'm Laura Zavelson, and this is the Gen Expert Show. It's the podcast for consultants and agency owners who want to use AI to make every weekend a long weekend without sacrificing clients, creativity, or credibility. So, look, if you're nodding along with this, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? You're with like minds. We'd love to have you with us. So back to proposals. So at the beginning, unless you have a back channel, you're in the dark about a lot of the details when you're writing that proposal, and you don't even know who you're competing against. It's kind of like a doctor trying to write a prescription before the blood work comes back, right? They just wouldn't do it. So here's my thought on this. Most projects start with a discovery phase anyway. So instead of sticking it on the front end of a big, long, massive proposal, why not structure it as a standalone product? So let me tell you a quick story that might help bring all this into focus. About a year ago, I joined a new gym, a really nice one. My daughter would call it bougie, right? It's got classes and massage chairs, Pilates reformer studio, all the cardio machines, and it's got, the weight machines. But for the first 6 months, I avoided weight machines. Not because I didn't really want to use them, it's because, and this is a little embarrassing, I didn't know how. Now, what I really wanted was to sit down with a personal trainer for one session. Like, I didn't want a fitness assessment. I knew I wasn't in shape, right? And I didn't want a sales pitch or guilt trip. I just wanted somebody to walk me through kind of the machine layout and help me build a simple plan that I could follow on my own. But when I looked at the sales sheet or what they had to offer, all they had were these big packages, 10 sessions, VO2 max, something, something, just a big commitment and frankly, a big price tag and not the way I wanted to work out. To be honest, personal trainers kind of intimidate me. And I didn't necessarily think it was true at this gym, but I've been exposed to high pressure gym tactics before. It's not that fun, right? And I didn't want to experience the discomfort of going through that. I just wanted a plan I could use for a while. And then I was ready, maybe I go back for some more sessions. So what I needed was a starter product, right? A standard product, like 149 bucks for a one-time custom machine routine with a demo, right? I would have said yes in a heartbeat. Now instead, I ghosted the sales guy and I kept walking by the machines until finally I got a friend to show me how to use them. That was a long walk around to my point, but I think it makes sense about the potential power of a front end standard product. A clear, useful, easy to say yes offer that helps clients solve one specific problem without the client feeling like they have to commit to a 6 month journey, right? Because some of your best opportunity clients, they might have been burned before, or they're not sure they need you, or they've got to sell you up the food chain. And whatever you're offering in your proposal right now is making it hard for them to say yes. So why not make it easy? So this is what I'm talking about in terms of having a standard product as part of your service portfolio. So it's just going to make it easier for your clients to say yes because it lowers the commitment, it lowers the risk, and it actually helps establish you as an expert compared to maybe the other consultants or agencies that you're pitching against because you're not giving this client a choose your own adventure proposal, right? You are saying, I know exactly what to do for you. I do it all the time, and here's the next step. Let me give you a real example. So one of my clients has a boutique consulting firm and she was looking for more fractional CRO roles and she takes those roles and then she deploys her team, right? So she has a powerful network. Leads were not her problem, but she was having trouble closing. There were always more calls, a lot of let's circle back, right? That sound familiar? So look, we made one key change. Instead of pitching big open-ended retainers, she started pitching short focused engagements with a tangible outcome. Basically, in her industry, that meant a standardized go to market roadmap or plan, right? Almost immediately, two prospects that had been waffling around said yes, no hesitation. So, look, while that didn't get her the giant cash commitment of a long term proposal, it did get her a yes. And it got her the opportunity to work more closely with those clients, discover what their real problems were, maybe even get in closer to the decision makers, right, that she needed to meet. And then she has the opportunity to pitch the fractional CRO role and a much better chance of winning the job. Bottom line with that story, the clarity and the low commitment entry point made it easy for those people to get started. It positioned her as the expert, not the vendor. Let me say that again. It positioned her as the expert, not the vendor. And it let her lead with value and gather the information she was going to need to make the bigger pitch. Now, I'm going to offer some guidance on how you need to price this to make it work for your business in just a minute. But first, I want to make sure we dig in on the main idea we're talking about today, turning your discovery phase into a paid structured engagement. So you can call it a strategy intensive, a roadmap session, an audit, whatever fits your brand. And here's what it needs: it needs a clear framework based on your expertise, it needs a set price, a repeatable format, and a tangible outcome the client can buy like a product. So, in order to be successful in selling future engagements, this first project should do three things. First of all, it should create clarity for the client. Second, it should offer a way for you to showcase your depth of experience and expertise. And finally, it should set up the next project without any guesswork, right? So here's how you build it. Step one, name the problem you're diagnosing. So, whatever the issue is that you help solve, revenue plateau, messy messaging, social media stagnation, low leverage offers, okay, I want you to put it right in the name. We're going to be super clear about what this is. Step two, design a repeatable framework. So, what are the questions you always ask? What is your go to methodology? When you very first start working with your client, what do you say? Before we can do everything else, I need to blah. Okay, whatever that is, that's your process. Step three, you're going to define the deliverable. So, what are they walking away with? Did they get a roadmap, an opportunity assessment, a path to certification? Okay, it needs to be really clear what they're going to get from buying this. Step four, set a fixed price and scope. So keep it simple, right? One format, one deliverable, one price. And we're going to talk more about pricing in just a sec. Step five, position it as the first step. So what you want to do is signal that there's going to be the potential for more work down the line. So before we jump into a full engagement, let's do this first. So, look, this approach has two huge bonus benefits. First of all, it helps prevent scope creep, right? You know what I mean. Like the project starts and you think you're going to be doing one thing, and then they add things and it gets to be twice as big, but the budget doesn't move. Yeah, we've all been there. So, a paid discovery phase helps set expectations from the beginning. You both know what's included and what's not, and what comes next. And because it's standard, it's going to help you set up guardrails early on that make the rest of the relationship a lot easier to manage and more profitable. The second thing that's great about this is that you can standardize the bejesus out of it, right? So, standard proposal, standard engagement agreement, standard onboarding, intake, standard reporting, right? And this is where we bring AI in to help make the whole thing a lighter lift. By the way, if you're interested in collaborating and swapping ideas about how you can use AI to grow your agency or your consulting business, check out the link in the description. I am launching a new community where we can share tools and learn from each other about what's working and what's a waste of time, right? Okay, let's get down to implementation. What can you do to get moving on this today? So ask yourself, what's my version of the blood draw, right? What is your go to diagnostic? What do I always need to know before I can recommend a solution and really get in there and roll my sleeves up? Then you just give it a name, sketch the format, price it, and stick it on your website as your default first step. So, in terms of the big three questions I get when I recommend this strategy, the first one is, well, isn't this going to keep me from selling larger engagements? And I think no. I think that serious clients respect a phased approach. I think that they appreciate the opportunity to get to know you better and that you have a plan in place for allowing that to happen. And I think they're more likely to follow through when they've already invested in clarity. Okay. The second question I get is, well, what if they don't move forward after the discovery thing. Well, look, you've still been paid for your expertise, right? You didn't do a ton of new work because you've optimized this thing for efficiency. So, and they walk away with real value. So you nurture them and you never know when they might come back. And a lot of times people do. And so the third question I get is, how do I price this? So look, base it on the value of the clarity that you're providing and the size of your target client. So for smaller businesses, I think 3 to 5K. For larger clients, I think you can go 10K and up. A good rule of thumb is to keep it within your buyer's signing authority because that's going to dramatically speed up your yes. What you need here is a foot in the door, and that's going to help you sell your future engagements. So here's our recap today. If you are tired of writing proposals in the dark and dealing with wishy-washy clients who can't commit, productize your discovery phase. Make it easy for clients to say yes. And consider using AI to make it a low lift on your part so it's easy to execute, right? So if you want to talk more about leveraging AI to make this happen, I want you to first hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be sharing AI strategies and tools now in almost every new episode. And second, I want you to check out the community I'm launching because it's specifically built for experts exactly like you who don't want to miss the AI buzz. And you'd love to collaborate with a select group of other experts on what's working and what's a waste of time. So the link's in the description. I'd love to see you inside.